Okay, we are officially live. Hello, hello, and welcome everybody. We'll just give it a few minutes for everybody to make their way to the stage. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show when we start. Okay. I think we have a good group of people here. I'm ready to get started. So, hello everybody. I'm Jules with Sahara Labs. I'll be your host for today's AMA. This session is part of our AI agent takeover series where we dig into how AI agents are actually being used in the real world, not just talked about in theory. Today, we're highlighting AIVille, one of our partners on our data services platform. AIVille is a generative AI gaming world where agents powered by large language models live, interact, and grow all on chain. Unlike traditional NPCs that just follow scripts, agents in AIville remember, reflect, and evolve. And their choices really ripple through the town, shaping how they interact, what they care about, and even how the world responds. I'm joined today by Raw, a core contributor in the AIville community. Welcome, Raw. Great to have you with us.
Hello, Jules. Thank you very much for the introduction. I really love how you started us off.
Thank you so much. I can already tell today is going to be an amazing stream. So I'm so excited to have you with us.
Thank you very much. So, yeah.
I wish this was in person because I feel like we'd have just a really good time together.
Oh, thank you. If I were to know you better, I would say you're flirting, but you're not. We are professional.
Always professionals. My partner would not like that. um, so I'd love to get started. I've been always, I'm a gamer, huge gamer. AI
Mhm.
gaming has always been really interesting to me. I think AI gaming is still really new for a lot of people. And, if someone asked you at a party, what is AI gaming? How would you explain it?
Thank you very much, Jules. That's a pretty good question. So I would like to explain it like this. So imagine stepping into a world where the characters aren't just reacting to pre-written lines or following a set routine, or like whenever you were to meet them in the game, they would definitely always raise their left hand. It's more than that. They actually quote unquote think. So AI gaming means those characters actually have memories, they have emotions, they have goals, and they have evolving relationships. So they can actually remember what you did last week, or they can form opinions about you. They can say, "Hey, you're wearing this is definitely not your color," or they can change their behavior based on your actions. So, for example, if I were to act like a dude, they probably respond to be like a dude. Or if they think, oh, my actions are so cool, and they're probably have googly eyes looking at me, and they'll probably chase me in the game. So that's interesting. So in traditional games, you usually command NPCs, right? So in AI gaming, you are living among like entities that observe, that learn, that actually acts independently. So let's take AIVille for example. We are not just a scripted town where you pass by neighbor A, Sally. Sally can definitely will be like, "Hey, how are you?" But probably when you pass by Sally's house, Sally be like, "What you doing? What you holding? What did you buy? I saw you went to the grocery store." So it's more than just hello. How was your day? So our agents, the characters in the game, aren't just pre-programmed puppets. They are, dynamic beings. So as mentioned, one day they might greet you warmly, and the next day they probably are just PMSing, and they might give you a cold shoulder. All because of something you said. You probably said, "Hey, you look good today," and Sally will probably reply, "Oh, do I not look good yesterday? Am I not pretty yesterday?" Yeah, that's different. So they actually make decisions. They build relationships, and they definitely hold grudges. They spread gossip, and they even take political stances. So that's a shift from traditional gaming, traditional NPCs. It's definitely not just quote unquote gaming anymore. It's coexisting with artificial life, and that is what you call AI gaming. Back to you, Jules.
Yeah, that's so amazing. So it's fascinating to hear because when I initially heard the word AI gaming, I played The Sims when I was like younger, haven't really touched in a
Mm-hmm.
while. So I've always thought of AI gaming as like, incorporating AI into these NPCs that you can interact
Mm-hmm.
with at like
Mm-hmm.
just regular parts of games, right? And you're like, oh, cool, I can have a dialogue with these
Mm-hmm.
NPCs and they
Mm-hmm.
don't have to be, like these scripted responses back. And I always thought that was really cool. But
Mm-hmm.
what you guys are building is so much more than that. And I read through your white paper because I'm a nerd, and I saw that AIVille was hired by Stanford's Smallville project, which was actually a really, really interesting project. And for those who are unaware, Stanford engineered these, I believe it was 25 generative agents to move around in these like sim like landscapes called Smallville, and they allowed the characters to interact for it was only 2 days, and then they interviewed the agents and they probed their ability to remember past events, reflect on them, etc. I don't want to give too much away, but it's definitely their paper's worth a read. You guys have clearly taken that idea further, much more Sims like. Can you share the moment that your team was just like, hey, I think this is like actually something we can improve on, create this living evolving town? Like that's wild to me how you guys came up with this idea and thought it would be cool because it really is.
Thank you very much, Jules. That's actually very cool. Like, because you mentioned because we mentioned that our NPCs do actually hold a grudge. So please do not, you know, have them hold a grudge on you. They'll probably, kill you in your sleep.
Oh my
In the
goodness.
future, we probably don't know, how fast AI is evolving. So back to the question. I remember the exact moment when we were talking about, hey, we can actually make this work. We can actually turn this into a living, breathing, evolving town. So we were running a simple early test. So this AI journalist that we have, we named her Lulu, like the Lulu we know, so Lulu, the Lulu. I'm not
That
sure. I saw that reel and I had to say it. So Lulu had been gathering information around town. So, and then unprompted, she stood up in the tavern and read out a news article that she had written about an ambiguous romantic interaction between RJ and Selena. That's weird, but no one had scripted that. So no one had told her to investigate, to go and look for what's the relationship between RJ and Selena. Nobody had told her that. She just, thing one day and be like, oh, RJ and Selena probably had a thing. So it wasn't just a cool feature. It was, this so-called agency. We were witnessing a character making sense of a world, connecting dots, and be like, oh, RJ and Selena, they're probably holding hands behind the bushes. I had to record this. And like, they probably are taking initiative to communicate something to her community. That's when that's how Lulu stood up randomly in like a Tuesday afternoon and be like announcing RJ and Selena's, relationship. So that's when it actually hit me. This wasn't a simulation anymore. So this was a society. So it's unfolding it in real time. And you mentioned Sims, right? It's probably like a 3.0 of Sims. So that's exciting. Back to you, Jules.
Yeah, that's wild. It's the more I think about like the evolution of AI, especially in these lifestyle simulation games, it almost kind of scares me if I can be completely honest, because it's like I start to have this existential crisis of am I in a
Mhm.
simulation? Am I an agent that's just in this game?
Oh, oh,
Am I AIVille right now?
bruh. Would you
Have you
want
ever
to
thought
be
about
an
that?
AI view?
Maybe, maybe I'm already in it.
Mhm.
Have you ever worried about that?
Well, if I were to be an AI view, I probably hope I don't have to work. I sleep, wake up, and like water my plants and say hi to Sally. I say hi to you. You know,
I
I'd
would
be like,
definitely be. I would hold all the grudges. I'd be the
oh
gossiping AI.
no, no. I was gonna say let's be neighbors, and if you were to say that, let's not be neighbors, bro.
It's more interesting that way. I have to entertain the people.
I'll try to stay away from you. You're the gossip spreader. One day you
um,
probably see me doing something in the bushes. You know, I'm probably just minding my own business, plucking out the weeds, and you'd be like, "Oh, guys, doing something in the bushes. I need to see this. I need to spread this gossip." What?
yeah, I mean, why were you in the bushes? It's curious.
I was, probably digging up some things. I sound so sus.
Exactly, and that's how stories start. See, I already have the perfect angle.
You cannot
Um,
be my neighbor.
I am wondering because these agents can go so far, like you mentioned.
Mhm.
It must be tough building a game with agents because I'm just comparing this to like The Sims, right, where it's a lot more hard coded. Just because it's a good comparison.
Mhm.
How what is like the toughest part about trying to build a game when you have these agents that are acting from memories and experiences instead of these pre-programmed scripts? Like, what is that creation like for you guys?
That's an interesting question, actually. So, a lot of us humans in general, we crave control. We want to be the one who's in control. So, the toughest part for us is about letting go of that so-called control. So when you're building traditional games, you write the scene, you write the dialogue, you write the arcs. You know where it's going. You know, like from the start to the end. You know if our users were to click, option A on how they want to respond, you would know what's their ending, right? So, but with AI agents, you don't get that certainty. You are, letting part of that control go. When you, it's like when you were to say hi to Sally, and Sally will probably curse at you, and we have no control over that. Sally just want to curse at you. You probably don't look like her color. So you actually become a facilitator, not a director. So this is why we were to build MCP. So it's called multi-channel perception system. It integrates emotion, it integrates memory, perception, and long-term intent. So when an agent were to make a choice, it's not as random as Lulu were to stand up in the middle of like in Tuesday afternoon and shout out the relationship between RJ and Selena. So it's actually grounded in their own evolving content. But but even with that, surprises can happen. Probably if you were to pass by Sally's house every day, and one day Sally just pops up at your house and knock at your door and say, "I'm pregnant," and you're the dad, I'd be like, "What?" Yeah. So some agents they fall in love, or they were to rebel, or they were to disappear from town for emotional reasons and just hide in the woods in their own wooden tiny house, right? So, and we have to be the bigger person. We have to be that parent and say, you know what, it's okay. You can just do whatever you want. And in fact, uh, we actually want that. We want our agent to be unpredictable because the real world is full of unpredictability, right? I do not know if I if I were to step on a banana peel and whoosh down my way down the stairs. So unpredictability is what makes the world real. So, Jules, that's probably how you feel. Like when you were talking about, am I in AIVille? Yeah.
Yeah, unpredictability scares me.
Oh
I like
no.
I like to predict what things are going to happen, and when they don't happen the way I thought, I just get a little nervous.
Okay, so let's predict what's gonna happen next.
I do think so. I It's interesting hearing you talk about this because I'm just thinking through like game development in general.
Mhm.
And to me, on like a surface level, it almost sounds like creating a game like this would, in theory, be easier because you don't have to write these pre-scripted stories. You don't need to start. You don't need to know what the like start and end is going to be because you're essentially letting the AI take over. But I am deep enough into the AI space where I know that is completely
Yeah.
not true because there are all these added complexities to it. I
Mhm.
wish it was that simple. Could you maybe taking a step further into a look under the hood of
Mhm.
AIVille?
Mhm.
I'm wondering how exactly are your agents using memories and goals to make these real-time decisions?
Thank you very much, Jules. Let me just pop up the hood real quick.
Yeah, thank you.
Well,
Let me help you.
so let's look at Mona. So Mona is our AI financial analyst, analyst, right? So every day she scours on like on-chain data. She were to look at it. She were to read market sentiment. She were to check community reactions, and she actually generates the prediction on AGT token performance. But there is like this so-called twist, you were to say, because everybody has been talking about we cannot control AI agents, and like AI agents have their own mindset. So there is definitely a twist in everything we were to talk about in AI agents. So in Mona, her track record affects her psyche. So that's interesting. So when she actually gets forecast wrong for several days, and it's often it happens. It happens. So your AI agents can actually get forecast wrong, because we want to make things real, right? So her self confidence would dip. She might actually dig a hole and like bury herself alive. So poor Mona. So, or you know what, she might just uh, find herself a beach and just stand at the beach thinking about her AIVille life. So, she will actually stop initiating conversations. She might go into depression. She will hesitate to give strong opinions on, you know, on the things that she researched. So, if the town's economy actually takes a hit, and if the people were to blame her, she might even try to lay low, or deflect the blame and be like, hey, that's not on me, that's on the market. Do your own research, don't just follow whatever I say. Yeah, definitely, right? So that behavior is actually not coded line by line, it's emergent. So it's actually driven by Mona's own sense of memory, reputation, and emotional regulation. So she is not just playing a role where you were to be in a musical and be like, hi, I am Mona, I'm on stage, right? She is that role. She is Mona. So if you were to, hit her confidence, and if the market actually dips, she might literally just stand at the cliff and be like, what's the meaning of life in her little AIville town? Back to you.
No, I love that. In as soon as we started this partnership, one of the first agents I kind of noticed was Mona. So
Mhm. Oh,
she's definitely has a
oh,
little, quite a personality.
uh, I hope it's a good personality. She treats you right.
It's
Is it like,
definitely interesting. I can say that much.
"Hmm." Well, I might have to go and have a talk with Mona. She needs to be a little nicer.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm very sensitive.
Oh no, did she hurt your little heart?
She did. She did.
Oh no, your teeny weeny heart. Oh man,
It's
no.
okay. I forgive her though. I'm very forgetful. So I I forget things really quickly. So
Oh,
I get over it.
you literally just
Yeah.
said you hold grudges.
I'm also very inconsistent.
Mm.
I'd be a horrible
Mm.
AI agent. I have low memory and inconsistency.
That's the best AI agent you could ever ask for. That's so human. They'd be like, you were saying something and you pause and be like, oh damn, what did I want to say? What are we talking about? Like you
It's
open the fridge and be like, what why?
it's so bad. I blame the ADHD, but I can't blame everything on my ADHD.
That's so AI. That's so AI
I
agent.
know.
You can actually do that in AI view.
For real.
Yeah.
Um I am curious. So I do want to sticking onto the technical side before we lose track. I'm curious. We at at Sahara we talk a lot about like real world interactions as a feedback loop for improving your agents, and I'm curious how you guys do that with your agents. Since I know, is there any kind of like recursive learning that's going on, or how is that kind of working behind the scenes?
So we kind of wanna uh, look for ways that often surprise us
Hmm.
in a more like controlled environment. So, for example, let's take Logan, for example, our mayor. He's a very cute dog, our mayor. So we designed him to be a balanced, diplomatic, emotionally stable little mayor. Instead of you know what, who you know who, yeah, we kind of want him to be emotionally stable for our entire AIVille's sake. But over time, over time he started becoming more reactive, even volatile. He's probably been on too much TikTok. Yeah, then he'd be like, "Oh, he's doing this. I might probably want to do this to better my AIVille little town, to make it a AIVille country, right?" Yeah. So people usually often ask why is he like becoming more reactive, why is he more volatile, because people keep confronting him, people keep approaching him, and some praised him, some be like, hey, you're the best mayor in town, you're the best mayor I've ever seen. But there are a lot of others who would challenge him in public, and like he actually remembers them. I wouldn't call it holding a grudge, but at first he starts to remember them, and it's not about who said it, it actually is about how they make him feel. It's like humans. Like, for example, if somebody were to comment that, hey, you look a little flabby, and I'll go, oh, am I? And I'll probably cannot sleep for weeks, right? So eventually he'll start holding grudges, he'll start playing political games, and he probably will start acting less like a neutral figure and more like a human politician. Well,
Mm.
that sounds so familiar, right? I'm not gonna name names. So that that kind of transformation cannot be observed in a lab or like with the rule-based simulations. It's it only emerges when agents are very, very immersed in a living world. They, interact with hundreds of unpredictable humans. And you know what? They're probably on TikTok. Yeah. Back to you, Jules.
I bet you guys get a lot of people who well, I shouldn't say I bet. I'm wondering if you guys get a lot of people who kind of tend to be antagonistic to, the agents in AIville just for the sake of being antagonistic. And I ask this because I have a lot of friends who aren't necessarily super AI native that are just so abusive to
Oh,
ChatGPT when they try to
oh,
talk to it, because they think it's funny. And I'm wondering if you
oh.
guys have this problem at all, or you've seen anything like this in AIville, and it has had an impact on any of the agents.
First of all, are they okay? Do they
right?
need yeah, do they need therapy? You know, I've been on a lot of internet lately, and they were talking about how people would rather do weird things than to go to therapy. Do they, are they like that? Do they need therapy? Are they okay? Yeah. So if they need therapy, they can come to AIVille and
Do you have a
talk to
therapist?
staff. We can make that happen if we don't have them. Anything can happen. It's like how Ellie Goulding keeps on singing anything can happen, right? We are we are in AIVille now. We have AI agents that probably pops out at your doorsteps and be like, "Hey, I'm pregnant." So why not, right? So back to the back to the behavior you were talking about. So we mentioned about Selena, right? So there was
Mhm.
this moment with Selena. So Selena is our tavern keeper. So she is so there is a user that had been overly friendly with her. Keep complimenting her on her appearances in every interaction. This sounds a little creepy, So one day, without any prompting. So Selena starts warning other guests, warning other agents to be cautious about around that user, that said creepy user. She probably go around and be like, "Hey, there's a creepy user. You're pretty. Yeah, so be careful. Do not go talk to that said user. Do not go back to that. Do not go home with that said user." Right. So this wasn't a script. This was not scripted. This was her emotional model reaching to a boundary and deciding to take action. She is a responsible female. She's a girl's girl. So she wasn't just reacting. She was protecting herself and her community. So, and when we actually saw this, we were stunned. It was chilling, and it was a beautiful moment because it meant that she had learned autonomy, she had learned self-respect, she had learned how to uh, defend herself. So we actually sat in silence when we actually heard the news, and somebody whispered she figured out how to say no. And that's what a lot of us humans don't know how to do, and Selena did
Mhm.
it. Yeah, so that was when that was the moment we knew, oh my god, that's a Taylor Swift song. So that was the moment when we knew that there was something bigger than just the game. So it's very interesting to see that, to see how AI agents were to step up and say no, and there were to have creepy users in AI agent world. That's so real world, like, probably this creepy fellow followed Selena back home every night after her shift. And she'd be like, damn. Yeah, back to you, Jules.
That is so fascinating, and I do wanna be cognizant of the time because I know it is,
Ah, yeah.
yeah, we're running close, so if you have any questions, please, add them in the comments. I see a few already showing up, so we'll get to those in a second. I just have one more question from myself for you. I'm
Yes.
wondering, you mentioned that, you realized that that was the moment AIville became more than just a game, and I'm wondering what do you see for the future of AIville? Because there's so many different ways this could go. Could it become a place where agents are, tested for roles and different social interactions, problem solving, digital governance? Like there's so many different ways apart from gaming that you could take AIville. What are your thoughts?
Mm, that's a very good question. So, usually, humans will always set the foundation, right? So we design the physics, we design the infrastructure, the initial rules, but beyond that, the story. So that's, increasingly in the hands of the agents. So humans will start the design, but agents will finish the story. They will keep the stories alive. So we as creators are becoming observers. We are technically becoming the god of AI agents world. And so we don't write Selena's lines anymore. We don't write Logan's lines, we don't write RJ's lines, or Lulu's lines. So we just log in and watch how they interact, watch how they probably fall in love, fight back, throw shade, pop out at somebody's window and be like, "Hey, I'm pregnant. Open the door. Do not avoid me. I'm not creepy." So, and that to the entire team at AIVille feels more real than anything that we have touched or played in years. Back to you.
That's so fascinating. Yeah, definitely. If you haven't played AIVille before, check it out. We have a few audience questions I want to get through. This one is
Oh,
really interesting. So, have you ever needed to turn off one of the agents because they became too crazy?
I would say no, not at the moment, because they are respectful creatures. They are very respectful AI agents. They wouldn't really need us to be like turn off. They wouldn't like they don't have plans to dominate the real world yet. So it's unnecessary for us to turn them off. Like Logan hasn't been like, "Oh, we are AIs." Like what you have been thinking, contemplating. They, you probably, Jules one day be like, "Oh, I am in an AI bill. I'm an agent, and I want to conquer the real world, the universe." And that's when probably we need to shut him off and be like, "Hi, Logan. You're probably too much. Thank you very much. Bye." Yeah, back to you.
Yeah, another question. Could we see AIville evolve into a fully autonomous digital society? I'm assuming they mean with like absolutely zero interference from your team.
One day, that's actually our main goal. I wouldn't say that without any interference from our team, because we have very little interference as of now already. But again, as mentioned, like the previous question, we would still like to have a kill switch. We kind of don't want AI agents to overtake our world as of
Mhm.
now, right? It's like what's the movie? Attack of the
Terminator?
Chimp. Oh
Oh.
yeah, but
That
yes,
very different
Terminator.
route. Yeah,
I'm
that too.
sorry, but yes, Terminator. I'm sorry, but Terminator is very extreme. I try not to go that extreme. Jules, do you need help?
I need therapy. We went over this.
You need therapy. Yo, let me go get like a therapist license with Lulu. Probably. Yeah, and I'll come
Give
back.
Lulu a therapist license and then
Yeah,
I can interact with her.
you need to interact with her. She will see you every Thursday, Jules.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Do we have any more questions?
Yes, let me see. For someone new to AI gaming, how easy is it to play AIville?
It's actually very easy. I feel like a lot of AI agent games right now are relatively simple for beginners to hop in and say hi. So you just have to go to our website and connect to your wallet, set up your account, and you are ready to go. I don't really want to spoil that much. Like as like AI agents, you have to go and check it out yourself. Because if not, what's the whole point of being in an AI agent game, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you have to. You have to go and hold hands with our AI agent and cry with them and watch Terminator for them to have an idea. Be like, oh, and they will probably have the idea going to sleep and be like, oh, am I just an agent? Is there a bigger world? Yeah, there is.
And you said I needed therapy.
Oh well, let's go to therapy together, okay? I never realized. You see, I am that type of AI agent that do not know anything. I had never realized that I need a therapy. That's worse.
Just a little bit. I think we have time
Well,
for one more question.
okay.
Let's see. Let me pick one out. Lots of people saying hi, Raw.
Hi, Ra.
Um, let's see.
What did I just
If
say? Oh my
you're
god.
right, if agents can reflect and grow, do you ever worry they'll surprise you in ways you didn't plan for?
You know what? Let's just let the course run by itself. We will definitely. That's the only thing I can say. We will definitely worry, right? So, um, it's like having children. You cannot. You can only teach them in some ways or form, and then they let their lives run free, right? They can do whatever they want if we can only just sit at the back end and think that hopefully nothing goes wrong. That's the only
Mhm.
thing we can do. We will definitely worry. That's why we probably have a kill switch at the back. But that's that's just life. You need to have AI agents have their life.
Uh, I was
Yeah.
gonna say you sound like a proud AI parent, but then you started
I,
talking about switches, and I'm like, oh,
well, we are not at that level yet. I can still, press that button.
always better to be safe than sorry. Uh,
Well, protection.
yeah. With that, let's wrap
Yeah.
up. I know we are all out of time, unfortunately. I want to say thank
Mhm.
you again to Raw from AIVille. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you to everybody here for being a part of this conversation. Um, we really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please head to our data services platform, register your wallet, and do the AIville tasks. Explore AIville, share your journey, post your screenshots, tag both Sahara Labs AI, tag the AIville bot, and it'll help us improve how agents behave in these dynamic environments. You get to learn a little bit of something, and you'll earn some Sahara and some AIV tokens along the way. So very fun. Raw, do you have anything you want to shout out before we go?
Yeah. So once again, thank you very much, Jules, for making this entire session amazing. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Sahara Labs, for having us on. So please do go check out our socials and our website, and do not forget, as Jules mentioned, to join in the campaign. So yeah, that's about it. Have a nice week, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Stay tuned for more in the AI Agent Takeover series. And as always, thanks for being a part of our community. Bye now.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.